Still staying in West Africa, Liberia's Electoral Commission has begun to report on the counting of ballots for the second round of the presidential elections. Partial results gave a narrow lead to veteran Joseph Boakai over incumbent president and ex-football player George Weah. The counting of votes began shortly after polls closed on Tuesday evening. Counts from 1,315 for a total of 5,890 polling stations attributed 50.71% of the votes to Boakai and 49.29% to Weah.
I will now read the consolidated National Presidential Progressive Tally reports, to be followed by those reports from the counties. Of a total of 1,315 polling places, of a total of 5,890 polling places, constituting 22.33%. Boakai Joseph N., UP, votes obtained 193,041, constituting 50.71%. Weah George Mane, CDC, votes obtained 187,615, constituting 49.29%.
Well, to discuss this now, we're joined by Augustine S.M. Tamba, the head of Secretariat, Liberia Elections Observation Network. Thank you so much, Augustine, for joining us. Augustine, can you confirm you can hear me, please?
Thank you so much for having me on your medium. It's always my pleasure joining you at this time.
It's always a pleasure to have you join us as well. Now, Augustine, as an election observer, how would you describe the credibility and, of course, the transparency of the election process in Liberia based on the reports or the reported very partial results that we have been hearing?
Well, so far, the reports that our observers have provided us speaks to the fact that most of the processes as laid out in the National Election Commission rules and regulations was in adherence. All of the procedures that we followed in terms of the opening procedures, the observance of presiding officer announcing the total number of ballots received, whether the ballot boxes were shown to be open. All of those procedures, including the counting, closing procedures, were all reported to be in the high 90s by our reporters. So at this point, based on the data we collected, we can confidently say that the procedure so far as laid out in the regulations were followed.
Right. And what measures or protocols are put in place to ensure that there is accuracy and integrity of the reported results, especially when there is an announcement of a candidate that is leading based on these partial counts?
One thing that our institution did as part of measures to increase the confidence of the general public in these elections, our institution was involved with what we call a sample-based observation methodology. That methodology is going to provide us an opportunity to project the results within an acceptable range, which we did for the first round of the elections. So far, from the data that we are collecting from our own processes and what the National Election Commission has released seems to be in adherence as of the data that we have collected so far. So we are still working with our observers in the field and trying to collect all of our sample data from where we deployed, and the delay is based on the hard to reach areas. But hopefully on tomorrow and day after tomorrow, we will be able as an institution to have a clear picture on where the results are and nationwide.
All right, Augustine SM Tambo, thank you so much for joining us, head of Secretariat, Liberia Election Observers Network. Thank you once again for joining us on the news.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure.